All right, guys, today, man, it's going to be a real cool day, man. Today, I'm going to go in depth a little bit about some of my baits that I like to throw on Lake Okeechobee, some of the rods, the reels, and I'm just going to dive in, man, just to kind of give you guys a little idea of a good arsenal to have when you're going out there, what type of line, what type of rods you might want to try and throw with. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Stay tuned, man. We're going to get right to it right after this. All right, so I'm gonna jump right on in, and I'm gonna bring up this ducket rod. Everybody know about my ducket rod. I love the ducket rod, man. It's an absolute amazing rod. It's an absolute amazing rod. It's a 7.3. It's a 7.3. I got 20 pound test fluorocarbon on it. It's a heavy, fast tip rod, so the bend in this rod, man, is extremely great, man. I can pick up and get a really decent hook set from probably 25-30 yards away with this rod, and I feel comfortable doing it. I only throw Cinco's on it. I only throw like as you can see, I have a trick bait on it right now with a bobber stop, 20 pound fluorocarbon, a 3/16, and a regular 5/0 worm hook. So that's currently what I got on here. Usually this rod would only have a Cinco on it. I probably was just in a local canal or somewhere, and this is just something I just put on. But yeah, that's usually what I throw with it, man. And I got that Daiwa 7:1 gear ratio reel bait cast. By the way, I think I have 6 of them, so you're probably gonna hear that brand a lot. Man, we got Hurricane. I think it's Michael. That's trying to come through Florida or come around Florida a little bit. So as you can see, man, I hope that the video is not super windy, because we do got some little winds out here. But I wanted to get this thing done over with real quick. So, hey, man, another real good one I like to use. I throw this rod a lot. Not with this particular bait all the time. I have a whopper popper on there now just because I was at a local pond. And I tied a whopper popper on, and I just kind of walked the pond area with it. It's a good pond bait, I think. It's a good bank fishing pond bait because you can throw it really shallow on a pond, and it's not usually so much grass and vegetation up there. So that whopper popper, man, it works magic. But I throw a lot of frogs on it. I have this on a Viper rod. I have another one of those, the Daiwa reels on it, 7.1 gear ratio. I have a 65 pound braid that's tied up on it. And normally, under normal conditions, guys, I will go with my big walking frogs, man. This is what I would throw on that reel. I absolutely love that reel for this purpose. I have a speck here. I have just a regular yellow belly, and then I just have the black one with the red eyes. These are my popping frogs. Really good baits, really awesome baits to be able to throw out on Lake Okeechobee, because anybody that ever fished Lake Okeechobee or any grassy areas like that, those frogs are really great baits to use, man. And I absolutely love throwing them. This guy Kyle Stevens, I think his name is, man. He really, when I got back to Florida, I fished with him in a tournament one time, and he threw that frog, man, like all day long. And because he stuck it out, that allowed me to know that if I stick it out long enough, man, I can get those 2 or 3 big bites that you need throughout the day, which is a good thing. So that kind of gave me confidence to just never put those frogs down in some cases, man, when that frog bite is on, and just, really dig it out. So yeah, frogs, absolutely amazing deal, guys. I have that tied up on again, that's a Viper rod. I have 65 pound braid on it. It is a 710 heavy. It also has a fast tip on it, but it's stiff. It has stiff enough backbone and enough tips to be able to get a really good hook set even from far away. So it works really well for me, man. But again, I'm also 6'3", so I'm a pretty tall, slim guy. So for depending on height, obviously you might want to go down in length, but it works really well for my height. So yeah. So another bait I like to talk about real quick, man. I have it tied up on it's a 7.4 heavy action, medium heavy action. I have 20 pound or 16, I think it is, on this one. 16-pound fluorocarbon on it. And I have that router trap on there, man. It doesn't matter if you get the blue back or the black back. It works the same. I think this the half ounce one. I have it tied up on a 13 black Abu Garcia reel, 6'4", 644, no 6'1", 641 gear ratio reel. I super like this, man. I've caught some really good schooling fish early in the morning, sometimes mid afternoons. It's a perfect time to when you're fishing those slow bites and you get them behind you schooling real quick. This is a really good bait to throw out there real quick to always have on the deck, to get that fart cast, get into that school that you could potentially be around and grab you one or two out of that school, man. Because normally you can get 2 or 3 out of that school before they disappear on you, and sometimes that helps you get a really quick limit. I mean, you need something next to you to be able to pick up real quick and get on top of them. A spook is another really good bait to have in your arsenal to be able to turn around and get to those schooling fish. So that's the router trap, y'all. Yeah. All right, guys, so I'm gonna jump right on into this swim bait. I love swim baits in Lake Okeechobee, man. It works really well. I really like throwing them under windy conditions. I like for the wind or the current to be flowing in a specific direction. I like to throw it a lot in open areas. I like to throw it a lot in a bunch of lily pads. I throw them in hydrilla. I throw them, anywhere, man, on Lake Okeechobee. If I can pitch that bait underneath there and get that bait to skip inside of there, I would definitely give it a shot, man. Those swim baits, you can kind of make them do whatever you really want them to do. Any place I really throw a chatterbait or just any type of like creature bait or swimming type bait or anything like that, I'm definitely gonna pick up a swim bait. I like the swim baits. Caught a ton of fish on them. I'm throwing it on a Powell Max 3D. This one right here is a 7.6 medium heavy. Fast taper. I got this one out of the Roland Martin Marina. These right here come with I think if you break them or if they break or anything like that, I think you pay like $60 and you get yourself a brand new one. So you really can't beat that. However, you do have to have your receipt. I think those are the qualifications. And no, I am not sponsored by those guys. But I think that's a great idea. So I think, for anybody that's wanting to buy a rod and that really gets into like fishing, that's a good deal because, as an insurance, you're not out of $150 again. You pay your $60 and you take advantage of the warranty program that those guys offer. So I think that's a good idea. I think that's a good deal from a salesman's perspective. So those are. All right, so another one I like to talk about real quick, man, is just a chatterbait, man. I'm gonna talk about this one kind of briefly because it's some of the same places as I was just saying that you would throw a swim bait. I would also try and put a chatterbait in there, depending on how much grass or dirt that I, can't kind of really swim through, or lily pads or something like that it wouldn't necessarily come through correctly. But any place that I would really throw that swim bait, guys, I would definitely throw a chatterbait as well. Here I have I tied on a black and blue. I always try and keep either on a white and chartreuse or a white in some type of color, and then I always try and keep a dark bait tied on as well, just in case. You never really know what you may run into, whether they're hitting the black and blue bait or whether they're hitting the white bait. You just kind of never know. So I kind of keep something tied on of both sorts and just kind of get a feel for what they're doing. If I get a couple bites on the chatterbait and I'm doing more work than I have to, I might just put on a black and blue swim bait, and then make that be my my go-to bait. Now I have one tied on fluorocarbon and I have one tied on braid. Normally I throw the swim bait on braid, I throw the chatterbait on fluorocarbon just because I just think you get more bites on the chatterbait just throwing it on fluorocarbon versus braid. But you get bites either way. So I mean, you really can't say it's just if you round some really big fish, man, you may just want to go braid. 50-pound braid would be my choice of braid if I would choose to do so. But here on the chatterbait, I have it tied up on 20-pound fluorocarbon made by P-Line. P-Line is the only line that I use as it relates to my fluorocarbon. So yeah, I have that actually paired up on a Denali. I think it's a 7.8. It's a 7.8 heavy action rod. But I have a fast tipper on the top of it, so I got some really good bend in it, but I also got the backbone that holds. So Pretty good deal. That's that black and blue Z-Man chatterbait with a gambler swimmer on the back. All right, and last but not least, man, we got that big chunk daddy. Chunk daddy is what I like to call it. It's that big punching baby. I got an 1.5 ounce tungsten on there. I got 3 bobber stops on. I have a 4-out flipping hook made by Trocar, and I have a why not on there right now. You can obviously flip and change from whatever your liking is in terms of your flipping style bait. But I like to go with those why nots because it's less chance to really get caught up falling down in those small holes, because there are no sleeves on the side that would get pinched off or anything like that. So I think that's a pretty good bait when you're talking about punching. Obviously you can get them in different colors. I got a I think this is a Golden Rush, don't quote me on that, but then you have them in several different colors, so you can just choose your style of colors. But I have it paired up on a Power Max 3D rod. It is a 711 heavy action, extra heavy action, and then I have 65-pound braid. I believe, don't quote me, it's Power Pro 65-pound braid. Power Pro is what I would definitely say. I have it tied up on a Lose 7-1 gear ratio reel, just to get those fish out of there as soon as possible. So guys, that's pretty much the selection, man. I think all right, so for swim baits, for trailers, there's definitely a different variety of trailers that you can use with your swim baits, that you can use on the back of your swim baits and the back of your chatterbaits as well. So I'm gonna go over a couple that I have. They're all made by Gambler just about. I think Gambler makes the best. They're durable. For one, you can catch multiple fish on them and still be able to use that bait. So I think that's a really good deal. But I'm gonna go over a couple colors that I have. All right, so when we're talking about punching and flipping, these are really good baits that I like to use when doing so. As we talked about, the why not bait is a really good bait. This is just a black virgin. I forget the name of them, but it got the golden flakes in them. And this is another good punching bait that I like to use. This is actually the Havoc. I think the Havoc works really well out here on Lake Okeechobee when you're punching those weeds, and you're getting down in some of those lily pads. It's a really good bait to use. Honestly, guys, I like flipping Senkos as well. As I talked about before, man, for me, it works. So I do that a lot. But when I'm punching, man, I always like to go with a why not. And then when I'm just flipping some little isolated areas, I like to go with the Havocs. I think Havocs is a really good brand. I am not sponsored by neither. But I do think that they're really good baits. I also have some Gambler baits as well. Obviously, Gambler in my area is just a popular brand. So it's a lot of people in my area that just fish with Gambler baits, and I think it's a good company. I think they're very reasonable as well. So, yeah, definitely a big deal. As you guys can see, if you look back over here closer in my tackle box, you see obviously a whole lot of Gambler baits, and you see a whole lot of different companies, and obviously Havoc, as I talked about before, the Havoc baits and stuff like that. So that's pretty much how I run my setup out here as it pertains to my baits. So yeah. It's finna get interesting, guys. It's finna get interesting. I think we're finally putting ourselves in a situation to be able to get out and get on this lake and do a lot more content. I'm really looking forward to sharing this experience with you guys and continue to grow as an angler, and continue to learn from the guys that have came before me. As I always say, man, I do a lot of time studying different things that I think would make me become even better. So I put a lot of effort into that particular area. So yeah, y'all get ready. It's coming. Mud City Anglers, man. Don't forget the website, builttolast21.com. Y'all definitely visit, get an idea for what we got going on. Really excited about it, guys. I think it's something different. I think it's something that a lot of communities need, and I think it's something that I think people should like kind of take heed to, man. Just because it's definitely relaxing, allow you to take the time to kind of put life in different perspectives while you're out there on the water. So it gives you a lot of different opportunities. So, and obviously safety is a big thing. When you're out there on the water, definitely make sure you're being safe when you're wearing your life jackets when necessary, and definitely taking care of yourself, getting back to your family safe. I think is important. So, in the meantime, don't forget YouTube, MCA Fisher 21, Instagram. Definitely like, comment, share, and subscribe. In the meantime, y'all be blessed.